All right, today is July 2nd, 2022, and it is a mini milestone day. In that, I'm done with the side planking. Yeah, believe it or not, both sides. Now, it still needs to be trimmed off up top there. And there's some other little odds and ends, of course, that'll need to be cleaned up on the planking part of things. But I think that can wait until I start, doing a little surfacing in preparation for putting the plywood on. Yeah, so both sides are all planked up. Not real thrilled with, especially here on the starboard side, the fairness right up in there. It's a little flat. About 3 frames in. And that's still, I think, a result of this frame here, this 46, being out too far. It exaggerates, frame 44 looks like it's in too much, which it might be a smidge, but I think most of that is 44 being, or 46 being too far out. So I don't know if I'm going to try to do anything about that or not. I mean, it's a little late now, isn't it? But I should have been doing it sooner. But I don't know. It's not going to hurt anything, so I probably just will ignore it. One of the things I've been thinking about, excuse me. Originally, I had planned on, I wanted to glue the planking to the frames. I was going to use epoxy, thickened epoxy on that. And I didn't do that because in some cases I had to pull, planks off and replace them or whatnot. So I didn't get it epoxied in. And I really would like to have them epoxied in up here at the bow. So, I mean, this rabbit isn't perfect everywhere and the planks aren't perfect everywhere. And does it need it? No, because the real, the sealing part's going to come when you put the plywood and the fiberglass and epoxy over the plywood. But I still am kind of thinking maybe I might want to pull these boards off and put some epoxy in there, or loosen them, bring that, just pull the screws out. And I did the first couple of planks here, lower planks, these two, the two there, the bottom one's the chine, but I did pull those 2 planks off, and of course when you pull those screws out, you start breaking out a little bit. You can see that one there, it's breaking out a little bit, the wood around it. So I ordered a bigger countersink. I don't have a countersink big enough to countersink those holes, and the one I ordered may not work either. I may not be able to get in there deep enough to, probably won't actually. Might have to make something. But anyway, I'm going to try at some point, I think, pulling the screws out. And the planks are, once now they've been here for quite some time, they aren't springing out just too far. So I think I'm going to have to do is pull the screws out from the outside and then go inside the boat and put some thickened epoxy in there and then drive them back in. It'd be nice to have somebody to help do that, but I don't know if I can find somebody to help with that or not. It's not a hugely skilled process to smear epoxy or drive screws in, but I don't know. Most of the people that are around either aren't physically capable of going up a ladder anymore or handling power tools. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. I left the planks a little long on the raised shear up there on the aft section. That's where the deck steps down from the aft deck to the foredeck. That'll be up around the pilot house there. I left those a little long. I still haven't decided if I want to put those just cut them off, at a 90-degree angle, cut it at a 45-degree angle, put a little swoop in there and a little curve in it. I don't know. So I just left them you know, a foot plus long, and I can decide what to do with that later. So it doesn't really matter. But anyway, got that done despite the delays I've had over the last couple of months for waiting for things to come in, and then working on my garage and, you know, other work I've had to do. We still managed to get it done by the 4th of July, which is what I was hoping back when I started this process. And it went, you know, a little better than I thought it would. A little faster, a little easier than I anticipated. Again, this isn't a real demanding process. This isn't a real demanding process. It's not like we have to, you know, it's not like we're going to caulk this thing and have to cut all the planks to precision. God knows there's enough knots and stuff in this wood to, you know, it's a good thing we're putting plywood over it. But it should be a very strong hull, despite the fact that we're full of knots and what, you know, not great lumber. It's good lumber. It's Douglas fir. It's pretty strong stuff. But so now the next thing, I guess, I don't know. I wanted to get some work done down in here in the bilge, get some plumbing in and, you know, some lines run and whatnot before I start working down here too much. But I could start planing the chine down. It's going to be a fairly big job because you're working over your shoulders like that. Even if you're standing on a step stool or something, it's still, you're raising that power plane up to do that. It's a bit of work. You can't do it for you know, I found I can do it for about 15 minutes, then I got to take a break, or my arms just get too sore. So anyway, these things need to come down. I'll probably start on that. I'll probably start running some lines. I need to actually sit down with the pen and paper. I've kind of got in my mind what I want to do for plumbing through here. But I need to actually sit down and draw it out, I think. Decide what I want to do for plumbing, getting plumbing back into the engine room here. Because again, all of the plumbing hardware and stuff I plan on putting on this thing here lower, and then above it I'll put some electrical. So yeah, there's that. And then I need to start thinking about putting my build stringers in that run longitudinally. Kind of hate to lose my access into the boat, because once this is gone, it's going to mean I'm going to have to crawl up a ladder and up and over the boat to get in there. That's quite a ways up there. I had debated at one time whether I should lower the boat all the way down to its frame, the cradle frame, because that would gain me, you know, what is that there? You see that lumber in there? That's 6, 9, 10 inches. So that would gain me even a little more up here at the bow. Would get that down away from the... But I don't think I'll do that just yet. I might as well get as much work done here as I can, you know, while the boat is sitting level as it's going to float. And then once I got that stuff done, then I can work on, you know, when I get ready to put the deck on up there, that's going to be a ways off yet. But when I go to put that deck on, then I'll have to lower it, so I got a little more room up there to work. But yeah, so I need to start thinking a little more about my next steps, what I want to do. Could work on this engine bed, engine mounts. Well, actually that's pretty well established, but the aqua drive needs to be mounted, and that's going to be a little bit of a brain tickler too, to figure that all out, how that's going to go in there. And I guess once that's done, then I need to find myself a stern bearing, and then I can once I got a stern bearing established, cutlass bearing and housing established, doesn't really matter up here what I put for a bearing in. That's not going to affect shaft length. But that stern bearing will affect shaft length. So once I get a stern bearing picked out or figured out where I can get one of those, then I can start thinking about ordering a shaft and the prop and all that. Again, that's not a real big priority at the moment, but it could be done at that point. So yeah, anyway, side planking is done. Woohoo!